Hey up everybody and welcome back. Well, it's Monday, it's still cold. Actually Sunday morning I woke up and it was white outside, but it was only a little bit and the sun came out and it's gone now. So anyway, we continue with our workshop vlog. Let's think, where were we? Actually I spoke to you on Saturday, didn't I? So there's not much happened. I just checked the oil level in the tank here again. Still haven't moved one little bit. So I don't think that extra oil in the crankcase came from it wet sumping. So I've had lots, well actually I had loads of comments about all sorts of things, and I've just been looking at piston rings with the odd magnifying glass to see if I had chamfered edges and this, that and the other. It's a possibility I put them in wrongly, but I couldn't find anything there. So if you're wondering why the barrel and the head are on, they're just on loose because I was playing around. I'm thinking about fitting a different carburetor, because as I say, I can't get the carburation right. I used to go to a trial out in Ohio which was always sort of advertised as a Can-Am trial, because there was quite a lot of riders used to come down from Canada, and one of them was a chap with a 500 Triumph, and I used to see him at Ormstown as well, and he had a lot of trouble dialing in his 500, and I'd suggested to him a few years back that he tried an OKO, and when I built this he actually put a comment down and said that he'd used an OKO, and I suppose I don't know if I can go back that far to find a comment, and it had basically transformed the carburation. He said it was perfectly clean, it was spot on. So I thought, bugger it, I'll buy an OKO 24mm, which is what I use for the 250s, because this is two 250cc cylinders, and we'll give it a try. So I was just checking out. I'm going to have to make up some form of air filter for it. Anyway, that's that. So we're still waiting for piston rings, of course. So until they come, we can't rebuild this. I've got to order some bits of tube. Those banana forks are really awkward. I mentioned it was 3/4. Well, it's not exactly 3/4 tube, and it's not exactly 16th, sort of 62, 63 thou wall thickness. So I've got to get some tube that I can sleeve into that and then sleeve the 1.5 inch into that. So what I'm going to get is some I found some 1 5/8 with a slightly thicker wall, because 1 5/8 is 1.625 for you metric people, and the inside of that measures sort of 1.621. So I can't slip 5/8 in, but this stuff's got a slightly thicker, I can get it with a thicker wall, so I can turn it down, because I only want it in, well, the longest piece I want is about 4 inches to go in the top to make a nice sleeve in there. I can turn that down, and then also the ID is 1.3 something, so I can bore that out to exactly fit the 1.5 inch piece in, and we can make it all up so it'll look nice and it'll be well sleeved and rigid. So I got to order that today, that'll come tomorrow. So what else? So as I say, putting that carbon's given us an extra job on this. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to make well, I've got an idea how to make an air filter. So there's that. And then, as I said, lots of comments about all sorts of things from this. The thing you've got to remember is, as I say, I'm not trained as a mechanic. Not so much in terms of training, but just in terms of day after day after day working on lots of bikes. So to be honest, if I haven't come across a problem before, it does tend to stump me a little bit. And I've only ever had one Triumph Twin, and that was 50 years ago. But I've never really had a bike that smoked like this. So I'm open to all sorts of suggestions from other people who have. So I've had various suggestions. We're going to have to look, if the oil's not draining down into the crankcase, then the only other way, as was pointed out, is that there's some restriction when I'm scavenging it. So in other words, you know, the scavenge side pumps more than the feed side, and the idea is to keep this from filling up. So when you look in the oil tank, you get this spurting thing, because it'll, as I say, if it pumps in 20 cc's in a minute, it'll pump out 25 cc's in a minute. So you get that 20 in, and then before the minute's finished, it's pumped it out. So then you get a little space of just pumping air, then it catches up with itself, and then it gets ahead, so on like that. So maybe I'm not pumping back right. I've got a restriction. So we'll take the pump off. What I might do is bring the air hose in out of the paint room, because I can turn the air right down, and put some pressure on the pipe here, the pickup pipe, see if that blows through nicely. But we've got things to look at. I had one person mention the pressure relief valve at the front, so we can take that off, check it. I could always get a new spring, I don't know. Let's think if it was the pressure relief valve. Yeah, you see, if it's the pressure relief valve, then, you know, that bypasses by letting it go. If the pressure builds up too much, that opens and it goes into the bottom. But then still, well, then you maybe, no, you see, you're never feeding more than you're scavenging, so I don't see. But anyway, we'll check, as I said, we won't worry ourselves trying to solve this. We're just going to check through everything, make sure everything's all right, and then if everything's as it should be, we shouldn't have a problem. So, what shall we get on with? Let me show you this carburetor, because I've got to think a bit about doing an air filter for it. Alright, so here's the carburetor I bought for it. It's a 24mm flat slide, OKO. I hadn't fitted one of these initially. I don't know why I didn't fit one, to be honest. The Amel Premiers are nice, but as I say, I just can't get it dialed in. And I was worried about the dimensions of this. See, because it goes on a stub. I wasn't exactly sure how much space I'd have at the top, because the concentric, really, I have to feed the cable through this top mount to get to it. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of space, and actually I thought it had one, so I'll have to order one. You can get a curved top. You can get one of these with a curve in it, so that will take the cable away nicely, so there's no problem there. But because of this great big wide manifold, we're coming really close to back here. See, we don't have a lot of space. We have, hang on, we're in one of those situations here where it's a question of getting things on and off. You might think you've got enough space, and then you realise, well, no, I can't get that off without this. So this wouldn't be on studs. This would have, there's a lorry coming, this would have 2 Allen bolts in it. So we wouldn't have to pull it back to get it off. We can virtually undo the Allen bolts and slide it out. Okay, because we've got the worst of all worlds here. You see that the air filter's got to go on there, so you've got to have enough space here for the air filter and its mounting to get in, so you can push it forward. That's why you think to yourself, oh look, it's an air filter's maybe 2 inches, and I've got 2 inches, but yeah, but I need 2 plus that thickness there so I can get it in and push it on. And the same at this end, of course. If I had to put it on studs, then the distance here, I've got to take that into account, because I've got to be able to move it to clear the studs, right? Which I can, but there's the sort of thing you say to yourself, oh well, put the air filter on first. Well, you can't if you've got studs. So it helps that we're going to have Allen bolts there. See, that's the one that came off it, and that just won't fit in. It's actually not the right size to go on it, but they're all about 2 inches. So I might be able to find one that would, you know, we could put on the carb and then, as I say, slide the carb in and put those Allen bolts in. We don't know, we'll have to look at it. There's actually little recesses in this manifold for the Allen bolt heads to go in. So I'm not sure if I can put the Allen bolts in and get them in while the manifold's up there, or if I've got to sort of put them in so the heads go in and then put them. So that's what we've got to look at. But what I was thinking of, funnily enough, I was at Mike's on Friday and he had an Otter, what's the ISDT, and the air filter on that, again, there wasn't much space. It came down here. It was like a pancake type filter, but it came down. So looking at it from the front, it wasn't round, it was, well, not oval, but sort of tall and curved at the top and bottom. So I'm thinking about something like that. Something that goes on there, and then the air filter part is in the bottom. Might be able to do that. Put a little light rubber band round that and then have the metal clamp up onto that. So, don't know, got to keep looking at that. Right. Now then, I can't get the manifold on, sliding it on and then putting the bolts in. They're just forced at a little bit of an angle. So what I've got to do is put the carb on first, or at least I can leave the manifold on, put the carb on. So that means I've got to be able to get the air filter in there and push forward. So what I have made, because that won't do it, you see what I mean? If that was, this flange was slightly thinner, it might go on, except that this is the wrong size. So what I've done, and I've made this bigger than or longer than I need it, is I've made a piece of round tube. I didn't have any the right size, and a rubber seal. So that goes inside there. So probably have a little lip on to stop it pushing through. Now I've made it this length just so I can see how big things are. So that slides in there and then it will push forward and go on there like thus. As I say, I'll make a little lip so that rubber, see. And then what I think I'll do as well is I'll put some slots in this so we can put a clip on and clamp it up. Now then, the air filter, this will be cut off, as I say, it's just easier to handle with it bigger like that. So the air filter is actually going to come down here. The filter element will be in this bottom part, it'll be breathing in through there, so there's going to be a back to this, a front to it, and then a round piece. So I think I'm going to make this, I don't know, that's 16th. I'd like to make it something slightly thicker to make it a little more rigid. But we'll see. Okay, so as I say, that'll go on there. And if we make it those dimensions, it'll come out. Okay, so let me go and cut a little bit of plate to make the front and back. Right, well, next stage was to cut a piece of plate, the shape, and then weld in my little thingy. Then we're going to put that in there. thusly. And that goes on. See, we're going to have enough space. That goes on there like that. As I say, I'm going to put a couple of little slots in there, put a clip on so I can just clamp that up. So now we've got to make, I've got another piece like this for the back, and then we've got to make a piece that goes round. Then of course we come to our, how do we put the foam? How do we get it to breathe into this? Well, my first thought, hang on, I'm going to come around that side, was to have, you know, we're going to have the side piece here, have that drilled all the way around the bottom so it breathed in through the side, through the bottom, and that'd keep a lot of the weather off it. But then I was wondering, should I make it at the back to breathe in through the back, make the whole of that filter? But I can't really keep the weather off that. So I think the next thing for me to do, well, can't make the side piece round till I decide if I'm going to drill it. Let me think about this. Well, I was just looking at this and then I suddenly thought, ow, bollocks, exhaust. So I put it on, and I can, if I swivel it round a little bit, it clears it, and that isn't really a problem. I don't think it looks too strange. For a minute I didn't think it was going to go on at all. And that would have really blown our plans, wouldn't it? Now then, we've got an inch and a half between there and there. Slightly, well, about an inch and 9/16. So if I make this an inch and a half, see, if I make that an inch and a half, then I could basically put about 4 1-inch holes. This is basically an inch. So 4 1-inch holes should be more than enough to breathe through, shouldn't it? In fact, 3 1-inch holes, one there, one at the bottom, one at, I see the one at the other side now would be sucking in really hot air, wouldn't it? So maybe we don't want any that side, maybe we just want it breathing through this side. Or how about if we have it breathing through the bottom? Or if I put another big hole there for it to breathe through, and then I can actually put a little sort of roof over it, because that's out the way. So annoying when good ideas suddenly have a problem. At least I thought of it, didn't make some huge thing and then go to put the exhaust on and it wouldn't fit. See, I can put clonk, 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 clonk. I can put a 2-inch hole in there. That's neat. That's about the same size as that. I'll think about it a bit more. Alright, I've finished the sides with their holes in. Put a couple of things in to hold the foam in place. That's actually, oh, I don't know what was going on. I could not get it to weld in the middle there, inside. but it's sound enough. So anyway, so that will go on there like that, and as you can see, we have enough space to get it in, put it on. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is drill a hole in there, and on the back of here we're going to put a piece of about 1/2 inch that's drilled and tapped, sort of the same length as the depth of this. So that will go on there like that, put a bolt in there, tighten it up, and that'll squish that all up onto there, and then we should breathe nicely through them. So let me go and see about putting the thing on there. I have no idea what happened there. I just could not get it. I mean, I guess I couldn't get it clean, but it's on solid. Can you hear that? A, we've got the heating on because it's cold. B, you might just be able to hear on the roof, it's sleeting out there. It's a nasty day. Alright, so I have got that welded on there, welded tapped. I'm not sure if I've made this with enough room, but what I'd like to do is put a rubber, let me see that, sorry, did I move it too quick? It doesn't really have to be absolutely airtight, but I thought that would be nice. Hang on. Right, I'm back. So I just put the foam in. So because this is non-symmetrical, you know, it's my usual 95% job, it didn't come out perfectly. I've stamped the top so I know which is the top. So that is going to go on there like thusly. Now we have a nice squished up oh, that's slightly longer, isn't it? So that one. I'm still here, I'm just out of shot. I suppose I should put a little bit of something on the inside so that rubber doesn't push through, does it? Tight, it goes in. That's good. Oh, I still have to put those little slots in so I can put a clip on here. But there we are. I wonder whether I should put a little guard over that little roof. Stop water getting on there. Might do that. But anyway, I don't know whether it needs that rubber. I think I might take that rubber off, it doesn't need it. I could put a little something on this, just I wonder if I put the rubber on that. Slightly big, that. Anyway, there we go. We can use that carb. We've got an air filter on it. Let me go around this side. To be too far away from the silencer. There. That, I think, will do the job. These aren't actually inch holes, they're 7/8. They didn't have a, I thought I had a 15/16 thrill, but anyway, so we've got 4 7/8 holes feeding one, basically 1 inch, or actually less than an inch, 24mm. Okay, so while I was finishing that off, piston rings arrived. So let me take all this stuff off and then we'll rebuild the engine. Alright, so New piston rings are on, it's all put back together. I didn't bother filming that. I have just noticed something though. When I got it all put together, I checked the valve clearances and I noticed, and you may remember my first instinct was the head was over oiling. The rockers don't seem to be, they seem loose on the shaft. So to be honest, I was in two minds whether to just stop and order new rockers and new rocker shafts, but we're going to see what it's like, because I'd got it this far. You know, to get them off, I've got to take, where are we? Hold on, let me lift you up a little bit. There are 4 bolts that go right through the rocker boxes and I can't get them off like this, so I'd have to drop the engine and all the rest of it. So I thought, we're nearly done, we'll carry on, we'll see what it's like. If it's still smoking, then I'll take these off and just buy new rockers and new rocker spindles. So anyway, I'm going to take this off now and then we'll have a look at the well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the oil pump, and also while it's off I'm going to blow through from the sump to come out the passageway on the suction side of the pump. I'm not going to blow through the pump, and then we'll put the air onto the return from the pump and blow through to the oil tank to make sure at least all the passages and everything like that are clear. Alright, so there it is, brand new pump. Notice that's the feed side. See, it's a smaller plunger than the return side. We've got oil at the top of that and it's dripping off about. This isn't showing any oil here. This is a brand new pump. I will be more than pissed. But anyway, let's take that off. I'm not sure whether they're, it feels like they're still with heads. There's a couple of little dished lock washers. Now I was also wondering, the gasket is slightly strange, whether I've accidentally covered over an opening. So there's the pump. You see this has got like a slot there. We'll take that gasket off and look at it. Alright. So I'm just getting a paper towel to get the oil off my hands. See, I was worried that I'd put it on with the slot to the wrong side. And that's leaking out, of course, because that's now coming directly from the oil tank. Why are there two holes there? Okay, hold on a second. Alright, so I've to say I've got the airline from the paint room because I've turned it down to just £20. So I've got the rocker feed pointing into there so it doesn't squirt all over, and I put my safety glasses on. So let's see what happens when we go through this. Nothing. Okay, now that, did you hear that? I don't know, can you see this? So that's returning to there, fine. Let me cover that over. Yep, that's going into the oil tank and to the rocker feed. So one of these has to be I don't think there's a non-return from down here to up to there. I thought it was in the pump. Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's blow from the bottom. There's the filter. There's the spring. And there's the little hole there. Can't get on that to blow. Hang on again. Alright, I've jacked it up so I can get underneath with the airline. And I put that little bit of paper on there because I'll be round here. I think I'll have to be round here to get at this. Anyway, we'll see if it blows through there at all. And here it's blowing out, so I guess there's nothing blocking it. Let me put a little bit more air pressure on. Hang on, I'll switch you off. Right, that's about 45. Man, I'm just getting covered in oil. Oh, I guess that blew that off there. So, that's alright. Okay. Next stage, let's have a look at the actual oil pump. Right, let's have a look at this. So, whoa! Well, that side seems to be working all right. Oh, maybe that works the other way. Well, looks like it does. Looks like that's the inside. Ooh. There's a catch in there. Well, that's taking some pushing in. God. Let me take this apart. Right, these are really tight, so I've come over to the vise, cleaned everything off. Good God! Oh. Man! A nice clean piece of cardboard down here to lay everything out on. So there's the spring. And there's the ball. Right, that's a really nice close fit. Let me blow it all out and make sure it's clean. Okay, that's all blown out. There's the ball completely clean. Than that. Okay. There's the other side out. There's the spring out. Oh. That ball doesn't want to come out. Just came out then. Right, let me blow this side out. It's a nice close fit. Looks alright in there. Let me blow it out. Right, that's all blown out. I don't see any problem down there. There's the ball completely clean. There's the spring and that going back in there. So that's the pump done and looked at. So there's the oil pump back on. Seems to work all right. So let me take the pressure relief valve off. Right, so there's the end cap off it. There's the spring that goes in there. Then the spring goes into there. This is the hole, goes that way. There's a little hole inside there. Hang on, let me move you around. Yeah, I've just put my second battery in and obviously I didn't remember to charge it. So anyway, there's the little hole there. So if I put air on here, what's going to happen is we're going to get some out of there, which is the bypass, and coming out of here should be the plunger. So that's all clear. As you saw, the plunger slipped out easily enough, so that plunger goes in there. Spring goes on. And that goes on there like that. I'm not sure what pressure this plunger works at, so I don't know if I put, to say I've got £45 on, that's probably so it's not bypassing that. Okay, guess I can put this side back together. Alright, it's Saturday morning, you can probably hear it's raining, and the top for the car, but it's only coming from Maryland by post. It was posted on Tuesday and it still isn't here Saturday. That's terrible. Anyway, so I can't really finish the Triumph off and get it running. I don't want to start the forks or anything. It suddenly struck me I'd never weighed the Greaves or the Greaves, so we'll do that and that'll be it for this week. So we're all set up. You see the readout there, it's zeroed for the weight of the jack and everything, so let's see what we get. There's the back wheel off the floor. Come on, front wheel. Oh, hang on, I'm going to have to move this forward a bit. I've got too much at the back. It's still reading zero there? Yep. Good, here we go. That's the back up. Oh, here's the front coming up. Alright, that's both of them off the floor, I think. Hold on. Yep. With fuel and what have you, £219. That's not bad for the Beezer, for a 350. Okay, 219, I'm going to write that down. Then we'll go do the Greaves. Alright, we'll try the Greaves. I say try because I've been fiddling on for ages. The bottom of the engine here, the skid plate, is sloped and it's been murdered to get the front wheels to lift up, or both wheels to lift together, so here we go. Oh, come on. Alright, the front is well off. 200 210. Okay, 210. Alright, let me get that back down. Ooh, that was a pain. Okay, 210 for that. Right, well, so that was mild surprise, only £5 extra for putting this 350 4-stroke in. I'm sure the wheels are a lot lighter than the Greaves ones. They're much bigger hubs, they're steel rims. You know, these TY wheels are quite light. So anyway, it's as much as I can get done for this week, so we'll just carry on next week. Hope you're not getting too bored, but you know, that's the way things go. I've got stuff to do and I either film it or I don't. So it's either watch what I've got to work my way through or not watch anything. So it's up to you. Anyway, let's say that's it. It's just going to be a rainy weekend. I was hoping to get out and ride again, but I've got to ride this again to get used to it a bit more, just to make sure it's not me thinking there's something wrong with it and it's just, you know, some people like my friend Chris Arnold, he can just get off one bike, get on another bike, completely different bikes and ride them all just brilliantly. You know, I can't ride 2-strokes. I suppose if I really worked on it. I did have a TY, what have you, so, but maybe it's just such a big jump from the Enfield to this that you know, I only really rode it the one day. But anyway, we're still going to do the forks because I'm interested in doing that and I've been thinking about that a little bit. So as I say, that's it for this week. Sorry to just waffle there, but I will see you next week, and until then, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.